What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we're going to go ahead and talk about Forza Horizon 4 as well as show off some new gameplay that came over from IGN quite literally like 2 days ago. Essentially, they dropped a video regarding seasons and how they change everything in Horizon. We're not going to talk about that in this video because I feel like they've repeated a lot of what they said at E3 in that video, but I'll link it down in the description if you want to see the full thing. But basically what they did in that video is they went to Playground Games, did a few interviews, got a bunch of new gameplay, and I'm basically going to be kind of overlaying that gameplay while I'm speaking about what I'm speaking in this video. It's not like one big clip, it's like a bunch of little clips of gameplay, so you're going to see it spliced up here and there across this video as I'm talking about what I'm talking about. And I'm going to be giving my kind of final E3 impressions, so to speak. Obviously E3's come and gone now. We've seen, I think, everything we're probably going to see from Horizon 4 in terms of new stuff. They've announced a shit ton of stuff, you know, from the YouTubers that have gone, from their dev Q&As, from all the IGN articles. Obviously IGN probably have some type of like special thing with Microsoft where they can talk about it early and stuff, and we've heard everything we need to know. I made that video like a few days ago, so if you want to hear about everything you need to know about Horizon, the link to that video will also be down in the description. But we're just going to talk about my like final E3 impressions. We're going to talk about kind of everything as a whole, as one thing, and we're just going to go ahead and see where this goes. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into this. So I think it's fair to say Forza Horizon 4 is more than most of us were expecting. For me, the last two games really let me down. I'm very much in a niche position when I'm saying that. I know not a lot of other people were in that position with Horizon 2 and Horizon 3. A lot of people enjoyed those games. And don't get me wrong, Horizon 2 especially, I really enjoyed that. I think I put like 27 days, is it 27 days or 37 days in that game? And then Horizon 3, I put 10 days less than whatever it was in Horizon 2. I think it was 27. I want to say 27. So I did spend a lot of time in both of those games, but I did feel they got very stale very quickly, and they were more tech demos than actual video games. I hated the fact when I went into online road trips, I was actually never like rewarded for being good. It was always the guy at the back of the pack drifting who was actually rewarded for the racing, and I thought that was stupid. I hated that. As someone who really enjoys competitive racing in racing games, the Crew 1, the amount of time I spent in PvP in that game was ridiculous. Even Need for Speed 2015, that game was a broken mess, but it didn't feel like a tech demo, and I actually sank a lot of hours into that game, even though it was a complete pile of shit. I couldn't sink any hours into Horizon because other than free roaming in the boring maps that were Australia and, you know, Europe, although Europe was less boring than Australia, there's not much to do. That's where I really enjoyed the first game. There was a lot of elevation in the map. You were rewarded for actually driving well. It wasn't XP based, and that's where I got a lot of time from Forza Horizon 1, was the racing and the map. All of these issues, from what we've been told, have been fixed in Forza Horizon 4. Leagues are now coming to Forza Horizon 4. So similar to the Motorsport series, the game is now going to get leagues, and that is going to be huge. Why they didn't announce this, you know, earlier or on the stage is beyond me, because in my opinion, leagues is more interesting than seasons. I get the idea. They want to, you know, make sure that well, they have made sure. They basically made 4 different worlds, one for winter, one for spring, one for autumn, one for summer. And I get it. It's really cool they've done that. But for me, the stuff like that really gets me excited. It's the story mode, it's the leagues, it's the character customization, it's the purchasing of houses, it's the buying of your own businesses. Those are the things which get me excited. I get it. They've put a lot of effort into it. It seems like it is a lot more of a visual thing from what I've heard. Obviously, with seasons comes new events and new things on things you can do on a weekly basis. But that's not anything necessarily revolutionary. Lots of other games have done that. In fact, I'm pretty sure Forza does that with Forzathons. So I don't necessarily think that like having different events on a weekly basis is anything revolutionary. Nor is really having like different seasons on a weekly basis. Yes, I get it's dynamic and stuff, but like that doesn't necessarily excite me. Like I said, what does excite me is everything I mentioned, and even other stuff like the new temperature model. I don't know why that gets me excited, but just to see the amount of friction and the loss of traction in summer compared to winter, that's exciting. So I guess that's one element of seasons which is exciting, but that's not necessarily seasons, that's like the actual game itself. The soundtrack is something which I'm really excited for as well. I really wish they announced more on that, because from what you might have figured from the start of this video, they're actually like Fred 5 and Gravix are making their own Horizon soundtrack. that's really cool. The return of progression is something which I'm also very excited for. You know, it's those types of things for me which really make this game one that could be the best since the first. In my opinion, the first game has been the best ever since it released. I'm not sure if I'm the only one. I don't think I'm the only one in saying this when saying that the first game felt like there was a drive behind it. It felt like there was passion put into it. It felt like they had something to prove. It was the first Horizon game. This was the one where they had to make a stamp and they had to prove something. With Horizon 2 and 3, they didn't really have any competition. So they were kind of on the back burner. They weren't really pushing themselves, I don't think. Now, I'm not sure whether it's Playground Games being acquired by Microsoft Studios. I'm not sure whether this is because it's in their kind of home country, being obviously the UK. I'm not sure whether it's something else in between, but it feels like this is genuinely a passion project. Everything about this looks like a passion project. It seems like the way they're coming out and doing interviews and stuff, there's something different, and this is getting me a bit, like, obviously scared of spectacle. Like, I'm kind of like guessing stuff here, but from everything we've seen so far, it just seems like the devs are like really pushing themselves. I can't sit here and say that they didn't feel the same way for Horizon 2 or Horizon 3, but when I look at the first and the fourth, there's a lot of similarities in terms of the way the game looks like it's being built. The return of progression is literally something we've not had since the first. 2 and 3, the progression was awful. This seems like it's more of a return to the old Horizon we knew, and they've even said they've built this game for the hardcore fan in interviews. They've said they've built it for the person that's going to be playing the game for a lot longer of a time. And that's something which we haven't had in the past 2 games. You literally, in Horizon 3, you got given all the races straight from the beginning. You didn't have to play any of the single player. All you had to do was go into either like a co-op campaign with a friend that's finished, or into a private session, and you would unlock everything, and there's no progression behind that. With Horizon 2, you unlocked, I think it was a Ferrari 360 within literally 5 minutes of playing the game. So, like, it's the first time we've had something like this in so long, and that's what really gets me excited. It's not seasons, you know, it's not the dynamic seasons, like, that doesn't really get me excited. It's not Forza Thon Live, that's a really cool feature as well, but it's doesn't necessarily get me excited. What gets me excited is the stuff which is gonna get me, the long-term player, playing. And that's not seasons, that's Horizon life, that's the story mode, that's the purchase, like I said, buying of houses, the avatar customization, the leagues, you know, the fact that this has got PvP on launch, that's sick. I don't know why the crew hasn't. It's genuinely going to be to their detriment, and I reckon that's going to be a big thing for that game. I don't necessarily think it's going to, you know, hinder the game too much because of how much games we have, racing wise, but this is something which is genuinely going to add to Horizon so much more, and everyone's going to understand what I mean when I say PvP is such a crucial, like, element to the game. And then for those that don't know, PvP just means player versus player racing, so yeah, that's what that means. You know, the co-op campaign, that doesn't get me excited. You know, what does get me excited is the 72 player servers. That's exciting. And it just, yeah, the way they did their E3 presentation was very weird. I didn't think it was done very well. If they mentioned everything I just talked about, that would have got me so much more excited during the conference. And it wasn't until afterwards, a few days afterwards, where this information slowly was starting to roll out, where I really actually realized the breadth and the scale of this game. And that was something which was not conveyed, you know, on the E3 stage. I'm excited to see what they do with Forza Horizon 4, and like I said, if we get any more information, you will hear it right here on the channel. So with that being said, that's kind of going to be my last Forza Horizon 4 video, unless we hear more news or unless I get my hands on with the game. Don't think we're going to really know much more up until, like, maybe like car list news drops or something across those lines. But that's my post E3 kind of thoughts about the game. I guess now all we're going to have to do is wait. In the meantime, The Crew 2 is going to be out, and that's going to be absolutely awesome. That's my most anticipated game in such a long time. So if you're interested in that, make sure to go ahead and stay tuned and click that motherfucking bell, because for some reason YouTube doesn't like to give notifications to anyone anymore, which is stupid. Anyway, that's been it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to go ahead and hit the like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe, and peace.